So I made one of these videos for hunters way back last month or two, whatever, when I made like 30 different builds for hunters, and y'all was like, too many to keep up. You know, I don't have that many loadouts slots to save builds. So I made a video showcasing like top 500 builds to make sure you have, because they carry, right? They just amazing, right? So I made a lot of builds for warlocks, and I think I'm kind of done with warlocks now. I don't think there will be any more builds for warlocks until renegade, unless something sneak up on me, you know. But I want to give you all the best 5 warlock builds that you should have saved on your character no matter what, as of right now in this meta sandbox. And I didn't do it with hunter, but I'll do it for, well, I think I did it with hunter. Nah. I didn't do it for hunter, but I'll do it for warlocks. Each build, it will be one for each subclass. Okay, so first subclass, solar. The best solar build you should have saved on your warlock is very simple, but have to be my least favorite build on warlocks, simply because you got to jump through hoops compared to the other warlock builds that just straight out broken. So for solar, and I'll put a picture on the screen showing each build, like the thumbnail that I used, if you want the full breakdown of the build, because I won't do that, then this video will be too long if I did that. So with solar, all you'll be rocking is Song of Flame, and you'll be using Touch of Flame, Starfire Protocol Exotic, and you'll be using Heat Rises. Okay, I know a lot of people be like, do Touch of Flame and Hellion, but then you over here lacking in survivability. You don't got no rest rates times 2 anything. Now you over here dying in content. So I recommend Heat Rises guaranteed, and then you can determine if you want to have Touch of Flames on or Hellion. Okay, but for this build, because it does revolve around the fusion grenade, I'm using Touch of Flame with, you know, Starfire Protocol with the fusion grenades. And basically in this build, all you're doing is eating your grenade, because you get 2 of them. You eat your grenade to activate Heat Rises, and then you jump in the air, Phoenix Dive, and that gives you ×2 restoration because of you having Heat Rises on with Phoenix Dive. And that should give you, with this build, that should give you restoration ×2 for 5 seconds, and then with the fragment, you just keep getting kills to keep restoration ×2. And then if your restoration finna go off, let's say you got restoration to 15 seconds and then it's finna go off, you'll just Phoenix Dive when it gets to 1 second, and it'll give you all 15 seconds back, because that was the highest timer that you had on your restoration ×2, as long as Heat Rise is still on. So this build is very simple when it comes to understanding what you gotta do, but it's a lot of steps. You gotta have a good sense of awareness, because whole time you gotta make sure you're paying attention. Is Heat Rise still on in the bottom left corner? Do I have restoration ×2 still on? If restoration ×2 finna go off, do I need Phoenix Dive to reset the timer so I keep the combo going? It's all about keeping the loop going. And if you lack sense of awareness while you're fighting enemies and stuff, you can lose those buffs, and then, you know, you mess up your cycle, your loop, and you gotta redo it, you know, re-trigger it and whatnot. So, you know, it's not as lethal as the later builds I'm finna see on this video, but it is the best solar build. So if you're a solar warlock, you know, if you love solar as a warlock main, this is the build for you. Just put on your favorite solar weapon and, you know, just go crazy. Void. And now this is where the builds get kind of lethal here. Okay, like I said, solar is probably like the most watered down build right now for warlocks, in my opinion. Even with the, the new RP, exotic RP warlock got Unonia or whatever, even then it's still the most watered down builds for warlocks. So for void, we're rocking Controversial Hold with Axion Boats with Chaos Accelerant, and basically this allows you to spam infinite grenades, and I'm not even joking, I'm not exaggerating. Infinite grenades. You literally can just run in a room, hold the grenade button, throw it out there, as y'all see in the footage, and literally enemies just die. All the footage in the background is -30, because that's realistic of what you would actually be dealing with in this sandbox. You will never be a -50. The most probably -40, probably, but even still, it still does the same thing. But basically, this void build allows you to just clear rooms with ease, just spamming Axion Boats, never shooting your gun, just spamming a grenade non-stop, and everything drop like flies. You put on grenade mods in your armor, and next thing you know, you're getting your super back quick, your raining orbs. You're gonna have Devour on non-stop, so y'all getting your health back and giving your grenades back more as well. Utilize the artifact perks and the armor mods in my build video, and you will always have Ascion bolts up, and then you just spam your Nova Bomb for DPS. And because of the grenades being the main focus of the build, you can run any weapon loadout you want. Mint retrograde, any heavy, mint retrograde, any energy weapon, and mint retrograde. So it's very, very easy build to use with any little effort. You don't have to get no stacks or anything to make the build get going. No, you just go in the room, charge up a grenade, everything dies. So by far already 10 times better than the solar build, which you have Devour on giving you health and stuff back. Honorable mention, you can run this same build with scatter grenades. They don't clear ads in the room as quick as Ascion bolts, but they do take out strong targets, which the Ascion bolt build lacks it. It's good at ad clear, but it's not that good when it comes to taking out champions and stuff. Compared to scatter grenade, it it can take out them champions and stuff easier. But I wouldn't even recommend scatter grenade. I would just purely say, if you're going to go that route, use supernova, which is magnetic grenade, spike grenade, and void wall grenade, right? Use your magnetic grenade so you get supernova when you charge up your grenade, and you're able to one-shot champions without even stunning them. It's actually insane. And I would recommend just going Verity with that build, and I got a video for that as well. But yeah, that's the honorable mention for Void. If you want to nuke bosses, definitely put on Verity and just do supernova spamming with Chaos Accelerant with magnetic grenade. Alright, Arc build, which is even nastier than the Void build, believe it or not, because it can handle the goddamn champions and stuff and ad clear. So in this build, this one, you actually do want to purposely use Verity in an arc, your favorite arc weapon. And basically, as you get death throws, it buffs up the damage of your arc soul and your iron sentry. And with everything in the build, with the artifact and the death throws and your grenade stat working on arc soul and iron sentry now, basically ion sentry and arc soul is doing 4 times the damage than they usually do. So literally, you can run through rooms and you put on the fragment that makes that your grenade shock, and that works for iron sentry and your turret now. And you just go in the room jolting everything, and everything just dying. You put on fragments to get bolt charges, or you have a rolling storm arc weapon. And yeah, you're just destroying everything in the room. You're just running with amplified, and everything getting blinded by iron sentry, jolted. Your arc soul shooting everything, jolting them, melting them, and you just running through the room, making orbs and using chaos reach for DPS on bosses. And again, another build where the build carries, so you can run whatever weapon you want for DPS: a crossbow, a rocket launcher, mint retrograde, and mint retrograde. So that's the arc build. Very straightforward. Again, very lethal. Don't have to put in real effort. You're gonna be using, most people use arc weapons anyway on arc build, so getting arc kills is super simple. Pull out Delicate Tomb or the Umfall, and you get your death throws naturally playing. Nothing you gotta really worry about. So again, no real hoops you gotta jump through like Solar. I ain't trying to bash Solar, but I'm just letting you know, like, Solar's at the bottom. Probably my least fave. At the bottom when it comes to the best Warlock builds, because the other Warlock builds, there's no real effort. It just does it, and it's insane. Stasis is probably one of my favorite builds. It's lethal, but it's my favorite build. In this build, we're using Rhyme Coat, and basically, you're able to spam stasis grenades. By the time I'm recording this and it's not in the game yet, because it ended up being bugged, and Bungie had to fix it. Go figure, right? Stasis shards no longer have an internal cooldown. By the time you watching this video, y'all have that now. There's no internal cooldown there. So you make infinite stasis shards on stasis build of Warlock. So with Rhyme Coat on stasis, and you use the artifact, like I say in my build video for this build, literally you're able to spam 3 to 4 stasis turrets out there all at the same time, using Wicked Implement to help you get shards and stuff. Now that there's no cooldown, I can imagine with y'all using it, y'all will probably be making 5 to 6 turrets before the first one disappears. So this build literally freezes every enemy in the room and allows you to just keep shattering everything, slowing everything, keep getting your health, because all these shards are going to keep coming to you non-stop. And it's just a winter wonderland. I'm gonna be honest, it's just a winter wonderland. I have fun using this build. It only requires Wicked Implement, so your heavy slot and your special slot for energy slot can be whatever you want it to be. And you probably can utilize Color of Darkness and Artifact right now to get that 30% with solo weapons. So you could use like the Trials Machine Gun or something like that for DPS. But this build just feels so free, and it gets nastier if you're in a fire team with other warlocks doing it. Then it feels like you're breaking the game and frame rates dropping in the game because of how much going on. But you literally have infinite stasis turrets up non-stop, just slowing every enemy, and you're just camping by your ice shards. You're getting health from these. You're getting frost armor times 8. You're just unkillable because everything getting frozen, and the shards just keep healing you every time they try to kill you. And you can just camp in your rift as well. So your healing rift. So yeah, this is one of my favorite builds. A lot of people don't use it because they are unaware of it, but yeah, this shut down a room immediately, and the enemy can never do anything to you. They just frozen 24/7. Strand. This build shocked people when I first made it, but then when they used it, they was like, oh, this cooks, Alchemist. Strand, I ended up pulling out an old exotic that most people sleep on for warlocks, and that is the Stag. The Stag allows you to get ×2 resistance while you're inside a rift, which is like 25% damage resistance. And with a healing rift, keep healing you while you're inside the rift. You're basically unkillable. And I took this in mythic content before it got patched, I believe. So -50, and I wasn't dying. I was able to just camp inside the rift with ×2 resist, and the enemies couldn't kill me. And you stack that with Weave Walk that can give you Woven Mail, which is 45% damage resistance. You're just unkillable. You just stay inside your rift. You got Woven Mail on for like 20 seconds or however long you stay in Weave Walk. You get the ×2 resist, and you just spam your rift non-stop to make threatlings. You're shooting your Mint Retrograde to make threatlings with Hatchling on it, and if you got Slice on it, you're severing the enemies. I have Hatchling and Slice on both on my Mint Retrograde. I can change the slots, you know, tier 5 weapon and whatnot. You get your Threatling Grenades, then your Threatling give you class ability energy, so you're able to spam your rift non-stop before your first rift disappears. If the enemies ever get you on red health, you get a chunk of class ability energy, so you can drop your rift down immediately again with the Stag. Just an amazing build. And then your teammates can always camp in your rift as well and get that ×2 resist. But you're spamming so many threatlings. The artifact this season has pack tactics on it and stuff, so they help you spam threatlings as well and do more damage, 30% more damage than your fragment, 33% more damage. You're making more threatlings with rebirth stuff. You're just making threatlings everywhere. It's just critters everywhere, okay? You're a father, but you didn't leave your child this time, okay? You didn't go get the milk. So you're killing everything. You're unkillable. You're spamming rifts nonstop. You're being supportive. Amazing build for hard end content. With Strand, I enjoy this build a lot as well. Last but not least, Prismatic, the best build in the game right now for Warlocks. This build, you're utilizing Getaway Artist to give you an Arc Soul. You're using Hellion Aspect to give you Hellion, and then you're using Weaver's Call to give you Threatlings in your build. So basically, every time you're shooting at enemies, you're going to have an Arc Soul shooting at the enemy, a Hellion shooting at the enemy, and Threatlings hitting the enemy. And we all know how busted Threatlings are right now, just in general, but it's also powered up right now too because of the artifact with pack tactics. But even without that, it's doing the same damage. So no matter what, when you shoot an enemy, there's 4 damage instances going at the same time. So every enemy is just dying. And if people wondering why won't you have Feed the Void on, that's how broken this build is. I didn't feel like I needed Feed the Void on in this build until -50. And again, there's no content in the game that's -50 right now. So it's unrealistic. You don't really need Feed the Void. Now, you could rock Bird Bloodline in this build, which I did. It's not as strong and potent as Feed the Void. It gives less health and less grenade energy, but it still devours. It still gives you health on each kill and still gives you grenade energy. So all you gotta do is use Buried Bloodline if you have it, get Devour prop, and then you will have Devour on non-stop because your pet's gonna keep getting kills and your Threatening's gonna keep getting kills. And if you got the Fasten and Mending on where grenade kills give you health, that makes up for the lack of health that you won't be getting from Feed the Void with the Devour you got from Buried Bloodline. So you're gonna be getting full health every kill from your turret getting a kill with Devour and Mending activating together. So this is like the most deadliest build you can have in any content, in clear rooms and clear champions and stuff. It's really unmatched. It really is unmatched. Best Warlock build you can have. If you're ever doing content where you feel like you're struggling to survive, all you have to do is take off Weaver's Call with the Threatlings and throw on Feed the Void. That's all you have to do. If you're not a Threatling lover, you could put on the Stasis one, but you don't need Stasis. What you slowing people for? Just kill them with Threatlings. Like, what? Are you dumb? Anyway, but I mean, I guess you want to have fun. You could go Stasis turret as well. But in that slot, if you're doing hard end content, you're struggling to survive, you would definitely put on Feed the Void. But in easier content, -30 and below, even -40 and below, you don't need it for real. You really don't, unless modifiers are like kicking your ass. But other than that, yeah, this build is insane. This build is insane. You can run whatever super you want and everything, but I prefer Song Flame because Song Flame get your grenade back after you get out of it, so you can eat your grenade immediately before you get away artist. It's a whole loop. Prismatic grenade as well. What I usually do is I eat my grenade, Phoenix Dive, Song of Flame, spam my stuff while Arsoul and Helion's on me. Super ends that immediately give me Phoenix Dive and my grenade back again. I'll pop those again, and then after I pop those again, I'll pop Prismatic, throwing grenade stuff while Arsoul and stuff on me. Prismatic go off, they give my grenade back again. I eat my grenade again, Phoenix Dive, and I just loop that all day. By the time I get done with all that loop, my super is back and I do it all over again. So you don't technically need Buried Bloodline for this loop to have infinite grenades nonstop. You just keep looping that all day. But if you want to see that full breakdown, check that full video out. But that is all the best Warlock builds that I recommend. You make sure you save them loadouts of the top 5, one for each subclass, that every Warlock should just have on them no matter what. And then of course the rest of your slots can be for PvP and DPS and raids, because you do need your DPS builds. Anyway, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys always. And until next time, stay up.